I want to say something nice first because I mean this. The 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles are going to have some spectacular, memorable moments. There's going to be a teenage swimmer that nobody's heard of touching the wall first and weeping because their story is amazing. There's going to be a sprinter who breaks a record that has stood for a generation. There will be fans from 100 countries crammed into the same stands, screaming for human beings doing impossible things. It will be beautiful. Athletes will be heroes. The fans will be neighbors. And none of that is really in danger because that will stick around. But what is in danger is that Donald Trump can't let a single beautiful thing happen in this country without smearing himself all over it. And 2028 is shaping up to be no different. Politico is now reporting that Olympic organizers are quietly working with the White House on a plan to hold a golf tournament right before the Olympic Games at the Trump National Golf Club in Los Angeles. Of course they are. Because before the world's biggest celebration of athletic excellence, our president, the toddler-in-chief, needs his own little tournament at his own little golf course with his own name on the gate. Look, the Olympics haven't even started, and Donald Trump has already found a way to route them through one of his properties. And if you want to know how this ends, you don't have to guess because we're watching it live right now because you had the World Cup, you had college sports. Trump is essentially telling FIFA, the Olympics, and the NCAA, in so many words, get in line. And for the most part, so far, all of them have. Right now in the World Cup, we've got chaos. The fiasco that embarrassed everyone involved when you see the video of the Uruguay's team having their bags checked by canine units because of a paperwork error. We got an event that should have been about this beautiful game, yet it's turned into another chance to inflate one man's ego. Every governing body, FIFA, the Olympic Committee, all of them in sports, they've learned the same lesson. The fastest way to get cooperation out of this administration is to let the president stand in the middle of your trophy presentation like he scored the game-winning goal himself. And the people running the LA Games, unfortunately, they are in zero position to push back because they've got their own problems. If you didn't hear, the chair of LA 28, Casey Wasserman, he's in the Epstein files. He's exchanged emails years ago with Ghislaine Maxwell. And I have to say this, he's accused of no wrongdoing and he's refusing to step down. But the man that is steering America's Olympics right into Trump's orbit is a man right now who cannot afford to fight with anybody. That is how this works. Donald Trump doesn't take over institutions by force. He finds people that are too compromised to say no to him, and then he leans on them hard. Oh, and lest we forget, this is the same Donald Trump that endorsed the sports industrial world that gave us the enhanced games to compete with the Olympics, these so-called steroid Olympics, where Silicon Valley money tried to let athletes openly dope until their hearts gave out, and tried to turn that into a billion-dollar business pitch. Thankfully, it flopped. But that tells you the exact waters that Trump's regime is swimming in. The games used to be and should be about the limits of the human body. But now under Trump, there's this venture capital version about ignoring those limits, and this president's vision is about how he can monetize them. And fundamentally, if it's the World Cup or the Olympics, it's the same exhausting story. Donald Trump physically can't stand next to greatness and let it belong to anyone else. A teenager wins gold, and his instinct isn't to celebrate the teenager. It's to find the camera and plant himself between the camera and the kid. So right now, soccer's biggest tournament comes to America, and instead of a global party, we've got Donald Trump telling the most powerful sports federations on earth to fall in line. And watching them do that because everyone has learned that cooperation with the United States right now comes with a cost. And the cost is letting Donald Trump pretend he somehow saved the world and letting him have an Olympic golf tournament. Look, the Olympics, they've survived boycotts. They've survived the Cold War. They've survived every government that ever tried to hijack the games for propaganda. And yes, they will survive Donald Trump too. But when you are the greatest sporting event that humanity ever throws, survive is a damn low bar. We survived the president trying to turn it into a Trump Golf Invitational is not the headline anyone in the world actually wants. And this is what I need you to remember. Now with the World Cup, and when 2028 rolls around, and the opening ceremony is dazzling and medals are flying, all of that greatness will happen despite Donald Trump, not because of him. The athletes, they earned it. The fans earned it. And the fat orange slob in the White House, Epstein's buddy, will be standing right in the damn front middle of it, soaking up the light that belongs to a teenager that has trained for 14 years for one race. He did it to the Club World Cup. He did it to the World Cup the same way. Make no mistake, the games are going to be worse off for having Donald Trump anywhere near them. But there are some things that can escape Donald Trump's ginormous shadow. Comment below. I want to know. I'm not watching the World Cup, but have your opinions of the Olympics changed now that Donald Trump is in office?